Hi everyone,
Happy Life Results Book Group
with the author Stacy McPherson.
and Jason McPherson, who is awesome. Aren't you guys glad he's here? Isn't he amazing?
Sheesh, thanks.
I'm glad. I love that you're here.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad I'm here too then.
Thanks. All right, today, up, and always. It's guide concept number 9, and it's its own concept, and it's mind-blowing.
And it's one page.
It's one page. It should be 20 pages, just like up. Because to wrap your head around it, it's pretty intense. So we're going to unpack it a little bit for you today and share with you a couple of definitions and a couple of ways to look at things. So talking about peak experience and realizing that there's never any benefit to anyone by dropping down from peak experience is a really powerful concept. And it almost sounds cliche, like to say, well, there's never any benefit to you not bringing your optimal self.
The best you is the best.
The best you is the best.
Better than the best. Why would you bring less?
Yes, but it's really profound because when you bring this idea into moments where you're starting to not feel your best and you say, hey, there is no benefit to me or anyone else to do what I'm about to do, that's where it's powerful.
And you may, if this is a brand new concept, it's probably not readily apparent what kind of situations we're talking about.
Yeah, probably.
So you have one in mind that you wanted to share? Okay. Go ahead.
So I'll just share a couple of my transformation.
Cool.
Okay, so one is I struggled with whenever the kids needed help from the teacher and the teacher reached out to me and I was required to come in and be a kind of a part of the process of getting my kid to do what the teacher wanted. And I had opinions about the whole process.
Because especially since typically they wanted some kind of push.
Yes.
Right? That's let's push this.
They want me to bully my kid.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So then.
Okay, so then they're bullying me to bully my kid. So I'm
sure none of you have ever experienced this.
Yeah, and there are so many better ways to influence my child's behavior to change, and there's so many different ways to view the behavior of the child as well, and to redirect without the blame shame game. So I had at the beginning, this was kind of in the middle where I had gotten more ownership of my internal state, but for some reason when the teacher and me interacted, teacher and I wouldn't bring my optimal self. Let's just say that.
Okay.
I just consistently did not bring my optimal self to the situation. And I didn't know how to change it because it felt like the situation made me feel that way.
The teacher made you.
The teacher made me feel that way. And the fact that my kid wasn't complying to the teacher's requests, it just felt so external. It didn't, like, I'm just a third party over here.
Interesting.
Yeah. It felt like that. And so Stacy bringing the most optimal self to that situation, what would that look like? And what would the end result be? And what are the results that I'm looking for? And asking myself those questions was really helpful.
Interesting. And it would seem like, especially with an environment central approach to things, it would seem like the best thing to do is just keep out of it. Right?
Yeah.
Like, just don't go near it.
Yeah. Which is what I tried.
That's what you tried. But it's your kid. You can't do that.
The teacher's emailing me.
The teacher's like, yeah. So yeah, that would seem like if you're trying to maintain, your best self, just don't go into situations where you're not your best self. Problem solved.
Problem solved. And that's actually how I solved a lot of the problems at the beginning.
Yeah. But then you realize.
Then I realized I actually can bring an optimal self to the situation. And when I do, the environment is impacted in positive ways. I don't expect it or need it to because I'm bringing an optimal state, which means I don't need anything to change inside me inside. But it doesn't mean I can't choose directions of influence.
Awesome.
So, yeah, that's my example.
that the only one you're gonna give?
You want another one? Okay. I did say a couple, didn't I?
You did.
Okay.
Promises.
All right, okay. So another one was when I wanted to change the children's behavior, and I was still under the impression that in order to really see that the child was listening and was going to change their behavior, I needed to see some level of discontent in the child.
Okay. Can I pick up this for a second?
Yes.
So the reason she's sharing these examples is because we're saying maybe it's not readily apparent that there could be situations where you feel like you need to go into less optimal state in order to best get the result you want. And we're saying there's never an improvement from going into less optimal state. And so you're asking you're telling your child they did something wrong, or you're asking them to do something different. How many of you feel like this is the time where you need to get like you have to that's the only way to get
there. And you keep doing that until your child does this.
Yeah, until they start. And then you can see
they're
that
gonna change.
You did enough to get like so Stacy's saying there's an alternative to that and that it works better.
Yes. yes. And you don't have to and you don't have to expect the child
and you don't have to make them
feel
and you don't have to yourself or make yourself
Yes. It's crazy. It's just the way we've done things. It's the water we live in.
And we speak from experience. Stacy has done the and gotten the and that was what this seemed like was the only option. That's reality. That's the water you swim in.
Yeah. And now we have a completely new family. Yeah. Like completely new. There's none of that push, demand, and feel bad.
Try to make them feel bad in order to get them to do good.
Yeah.
Try to use bad to get good.
No, it's not that.
Yeah. But that's just one aspect, and the whole point of this concept is to apply these principles universally.
Okay, so that's the second point of today's then.
Yeah. Okay.
And that is universally, and we call it the universal lens in our language, like when we're talking about this concept, and we say the universal lens, meaning it's always best to bring the best internal state to every situation, and that nothing in my environment controls my internal state. It has no power. And so I just want to say that it was my method to go through my life context by context, this situation, and then deal with, change my instinctive reaction, change that the Stacy that I brought to that situation in a very narrow context. So in the interaction with the teacher, I learned to bring, and I practiced, and I changed, and then I learned I could bring an optimal internal state. I could bring the best Stacy to that, but I didn't just apply it universally.
It was one area at a time, and she kind of described it as a room. She was realizing that if there was something she could get out of the room and didn't have to deal with, she did. But if it's something she must deal with, then she had to figure out that specific context, how to bring her optimal self to that specific context. But it was just that context, right? It was
context
only one.
by context. So took it very strategically, very purposefully to one context. And that was the beginning of my transformation. And so this concept is even broader than I can even, I'm not living it yet. I'm not living this, because if I was, I would universally apply this and have no more triggers, no more times where I felt like my environment caused me to feel a certain way. I'm not there yet. Today is the middle of 2020. So 2020. Maybe by the time you watch this, I will have unned all my conditions.
Unconditional peak experience. So here's a condition she feels like affects her ability to maintain peak experience, and she uns it, so it's unconditional. That's what she's calling unning. And I have to say, even though she's telling you very honestly and authentically that she hasn't unned all of her conditions, that almost every aspect, almost any experience, interaction with her is just phenomenal. It's just amazing. She's just an amazing, amazing person. And the fact, when she started this out, she was just trying to get fewer problems in her life.
Yeah.
And just have less downtime, less, less upset, less. And now she's past that, like it's not even in the same universe. And so even a person who still has things they're unning is flying. She's flying. It's just amazing. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you. So sweet. Well, this is the end of
Oh, yeah, I guess this is the final concept.
finale.
Before the hero stage,
Yeah.
we're going to still move to the application, and there are some additional concepts. Like, there are 8 concepts, but there are additional tips and tools and ways to interpret and apply this stuff, because it's one thing to understand it in theory, it's another thing to know how to put it into practice. And so she's going to give you new tools and new tips and things for what it takes to move this into application.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that.
Yes. Thanks for joining us.
And we'll see you in the hero stage.
Hero stage, guys.
Woo!
Woohoo!